Right folks, so we're going to be looking at this Mercedes 2010 250 CGI, and the customer was complaining of a vibration in the front discs, and I have got to say these are by far the worst Mercedes brakes I've seen in a long time. I mean, let's just get you in here. Look, you can't really see very well, but we'll get the disc. We'll get the disc off and show you guys what they look like. Because look at that, brake pads are low and everything else. You know, these. Wow, that's bad. I mean, I can really get a good lip on the back of there. So anyway, first off, what we're going to do is the 13 mils, one here and one down here. You might need to get your spanner on the inside. I tend to use just a pair of mole grips just on here, on the little metal ring, whiz them out, and that removes the caliper. But what we're going to do straight away is we're going to put a screwdriver straight in the back of here and pull the caliper across this way, because the discs are junk, the pads are junk, we're not worried about it. Just a flathead bladed screwdriver in the back of the disc like that, and we're just going to go ahead and pull across on the piston. Not ridiculously, we're not going to be like the Hulk here and just destroy it, but what we are going to do, because this side hasn't got a wear indicator, is we're just going to stretch it across. So it's like that, nice and floppity flop. And then we're going to go 2 13s, one there, and whiz that off. And I'll show you guys when we get the caliper off. Rightio, so that's what it's going to look like when we got the caliper off. We've still got to push that piston in a little bit, but not to worry. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the back now. I don't know if you can see it very good, but just here you've got 118 there and 118 down there. That's to remove the rear caliper carrier. Now on this one, someone has done it damn tight, so I used the improper way of just using a hammer to undo the nut, the bolt, nut, bolt. Haha. Anyway, we'll get this caliper we'll get the caliper carrier off now, and I'll show you guys the disc when we get it off. So here we go. We're taking out the where is it? T30 on that, and we remove the disc after hitting it with a hammer. And look at that, look folks, look at the state of them discs. Look at that, look at the lip on that. That is absolutely mad. I mean, it's probably not the end of the world. You could have got the machine down again, you know, get them all machine flat, but the brakes that we're going to be putting on here are Brembos. The original OE brakes were Brembo. So we're putting OE brake discs, Brembo discs on, original OE Brembo pads and everything else. We've already gone ahead and done the other side and replaced the sensor, and I was quite surprised when we were doing them that, hey, you know, looking at that. So we're just going to go ahead now, clean this all up with the drill, and get you guys caught up in a sec. That's what we're going to use. We're just going to run around like this, knocking off all the dust and the crap. And we're just going to make it shiny. So I'll get you guys back as per usual once I've done it, got it all cleaned up, and I'm happy with it. Right, so there we have it. How I like it, nice and shiny, as good as it's going to get for what it is. Now there's no play in the there's no play in the hub. It's all lovely, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use Mintex assembly paste. Just put a bit around here, anti-ACs, on the caliper guides, the slides, the pins and everything, and the back of the pads. And I'll get you guys caught up once I've got the disc back on and everything else. Right, so there we have it. All a bit of assembly, brake pad anti-seize. And look at these guys. Look at these beautiful things. I mean, Brembo discs, absolutely stunning. There's nothing more that a good Mercedes needs more than a good set of Mercedes Brembo brakes, which is what it calls for. So we're going to go ahead now. We're going to locate that with the disc, which is just here, look. So that will line up with that. And we've got new hardware that screws in and everything else. Right, folks, so we've just been ahead and put a little bit of contact grease on the slide pins. And we're just going to relocate it back in its hole. Just so it's got, I think, operating it like so. And like that, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to put a bit down inside here and up in here where the pads sit on, and start getting it put back together. Right, so as you can all see, it's all greased up and lubricated and that with the anti-seize. The caliper's been pushed back in, and that just slides like that over the top, pushing your little tabs back, top and bottom, down here and that, when it decides it's going to play ball. And then the beautiful thing about using Brembo and stuff like that, they give you all the original OE hardware and stuff that you need to do the job, you know, new shims and everything, so we don't have any problems in the future. But anyway, I'll get you guys caught back up when I've got these little 13s back in and nipped up. So there we have it. We have the front brakes done on this Mercedes C250 CGI, and all new front brakes are all done. Brembo discs and pads on the front, and hopefully we'll go up the road and hopefully there won't be any more vibrations in the front suspension or anything like that, because it all seems pretty tight. You know, there's nothing loose and wibbly wobbly. Okay, so we've moved on now to the driver's side rear brake discs. We're going to be changing the pads again, like I said, for the Brembos, because this has got Pagid in it. There's nothing against Pagid, just that they're just a really cheap economy sort of brand, and you know, I just think this car deserves better. So, flathead screwdriver, we go straight in, pop the clip like so. Straight away, we're going to be careful with this one because this one has got the sensor with it. So we don't got to be careful not to break that, but we're just going to slot the screwdriver in like so, and we're just going to push the pad back in and come through the other side like so. So we're going to go for the big press. We're not pressing on the disc, and we can wibbly wobbly, so we can not scratch the disc up, because obviously the sensors on these come separate. So like so, that's maxed out, as you can see here and down here. So what we're going to do now at this point is we're just going to go ahead and use a 7mm Allen key to remove the backs of these. These rubber grommets are a little bit tricky on these, some of these, to get off, like so. Okay, so once you've got the plastic cover top pulled off, these two little plastic covers, pulled out the first 7mm, you're then going to realise that this one will not come out because of this. This little metal bracket is right in the way of being able to get in. So what we're going to do is go ahead and make ourselves a little doobly-doo like so. Trying to do this all one-handed is a bit of a pain in the dairy. Like so. Like so. And close to say, trying to do this one-handed is a pain in the real dairy. Right, there we go. And then, damn, they're tight. Right, so there we go. Just gonna scooch on this out, and then once we got this out, I'll get the caliper off and I'll show you guys what we've got to get into. Right, so we've got the caliper off now, and this just pulls out of there very lightly, just here, look, and just a little brake wear indicator sensor. I mean, these are getting a bit low, but they weren't in desperate need right now. But you know, it's one of them that we're here and everything else, and they're wearing inconsistent and everything else, because the guide pins that go through here, they were quite stuck in the caliper. Now you're going to be going, oh, you shouldn't be leaving this laying on the brake line. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's not a really heavy caliper, so it's going to be absolutely fine. Right, anyway, back to this. Your wear indicator sensor, that just lifts out very carefully, like so. Yours might be a little bit more tricky than this one, but there we go. I am a bit surprised that Brembo didn't supply a wear indicator with their system. I mean, you know, you're paying what you're paying for. You want the top quality, and you don't get wear indicators, which kind of sucks, really. But anywho, we'll get this cleaned up, and just looking for my drill. Get these cleaned up, get this all put back together, and yeah, we'll have Brembo brakes on a Merc all round. So there we go. Wear indicator is currently installed. That's all done and good. So we're just going to load that down to there, and then this, we're just going to go ahead and give this a good old clean up. You know, best as we can, both sides like this. It's quite tricky to do it one-handed, so I'm going to get this cleaned up, and I'll get you guys caught back up when I start reassembling the caliper and putting all the grease and goop on. Okay, so we've got that back in. The little tips and tabs are all greased up. This one's all greased up, ready to go back in, and we're just gonna wriggle and wriggle and wriggle, like so. Putting our wear indicator back in its hole. So I'm trying to do this, trying to do it through the camera, like so. There we go. And then we're just going to go ahead, using the wire wheel on the drill. We're going to clean up these pins, grease them up, and put them back in. Nip them down, and that's really going to be about it. And putting the retaining clip back in, that stops it from twisting, and that's what these do. Stops them, your caliper, when you press the brake, the caliper doing this. So with that hooked in around here, that just helps it try and wear dead straight and true. So I'll get you guys back when I've got it all tightened up. Okay, well, it's not a requirement that you do this, but I just generally prefer to do it. Put a dab of grease in the end caps like so, because that helps any moisture getting in there and whatnot, and helps just grease up and keep them pins greased up. Now, you're all probably wondering about this clip. These are so easy to do, just like so. He's going to say that now because he's one-handed. Right, so Never easy when handed. So like so. I'm trying to show you guys. It's quite relatively easy. Look, there you go. Like so. And there we have it. The rear brakes on a Mercedes C250. So, like I'm saying, you're all probably going to be sitting there saying, well, you don't need Brembo brakes on a C250, 1.8, 200 horsepower, AMG replica lookalike thing. And you're probably right, you don't need Brembo brakes and everything else. But that's kind of what Mercedes called for when they made the particular car. Now, this is what this customer requires and what he wants, because he likes everything to be close to OE spec. Now, you guys don't have to go out and spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on brake pads and discs and that for Brembos. Anyway, what I mean by that is you can go get cheaper brands and put them on your car. They're not going to work as effectively as what Brembos are. But, you know, it's what you can afford at the time and whatnot. So, anyway, it's not a gripe at anybody that doesn't want to, you know, spend the money on the brakes. But this customer likes to spend the money on the brakes. Anyway, like I'm going to say, guys, I'm going to check out now. And much love from me. And peace out. Much love.